Different people or different organizations, they define precision agriculture in a different way. Precision agriculture is also known as a precision farming. And probably the best easiest way to understand what is precision agriculture is think about everything. Everything means think about machine, think about technology, think about knowledge, think about skill and all kinds of tools that we use in farming, and that makes our farming practice more accurate and more controlled. Once our farming practice is more accurate and more controlled, that is called precision agriculture, or this is the part of precision agriculture, and it could be related to the crops or it could be related to the livestock. I mentioned you different tools, machines, tractors and different sensors, and the goal of this using all these sensors to machine is to collect the data, and after collecting data we analyze the data. That means by analyzing data gathered from sensors, tractors and satellites, today's farmers are able to track crop health, make planting decisions and guide fertilizer use. Why we use this? To make our farming system more effective and more profitable. That means using all kinds of data collected from different equipments, we use this data to make the decision, plant management decision or animal management decision. And why we make the decision? To make sure that our resources are used more effectively and our business is profitable. Business means livestock farming or crop farming. A key component of this farm management approach is the use of information technology and a wide area of items. Information technology and wide area of items. Items means again different kinds of sensors, tools, equipment, satellites and so on. So when we think about precision agriculture, what comes to our mind? What do we think about precision agriculture? When we say precision agriculture or when we hear the term precision agriculture, different kind of things come to our mind. For example, let's see here, GPS guided system, sprayers, section control, row crop management, yield monitoring in the field, remote sensing, in-field sensing, data management, variable rate application, that could be fertilizer application, that could be irrigation application, water application, telematics and robotics. These everything are related to the precision agriculture and everything that makes our farming system more accurate and more controlled. Why we use all this technology and system is to make our farming system more accurate and more controlled. So I want you to remember these two words, accurate and controlled. We want to maintain the accuracy and we want to control our farming system based on the data collected from the different tools, and that gives the sense of precision agriculture or precision farming. Precision agriculture especially has 3 steps. The first one is the sensing, that means collecting data. How we are collecting data? It could be soil sensing, it could be remote sensing or ground truthing. Doesn't matter what we are doing, the idea is we are sensing and we are collecting data. That is the first step in precision agriculture. And the second step is data interpretation. From the first step, from the sensing, we got data. We have a lot of data. Then our work is now to interpret this data. Data itself is nothing until and unless we use it. So that the next step is calibration and processing, data interpretation and decision support tool. That means we use this data as a decision support tool, or this data support us to make the decision. And the last step is the decision making. That means site specific application. That could be variable rate of application, that could be best management practices, and that could be precise harvesting. Again, the 3 steps are: first step is the collecting data, that means the sensing. Second is the interpretation of this data, and the third one is the application of this data, application of the result, and this gives the sense of precision farming. And finally here we can have a yield map. Based on the yield in the field, this map looks like this. So what is remote sensing then? Because in the previous slide I told you about remote sensing is one of the tools of precision agriculture. Precision agriculture is really broad, but remote sensing is a part of precision agriculture, and this is the fundamental part, very important part. These days remote sensing is one of the most important part of precision agriculture, because we use remote sensing to collect data. Data tells us what we need to do and what we do not need to do. Remote sensing is a method for gathering information of different objects on the planet without any physical contacts with them. Without any physical contact, we collect data about our planet, and it could be trees, water, grass, bare soil, road, buildings, whatever. That means they are getting energy from the sun and they are reflecting that energy to the atmosphere. And our remote sensing tools, for example satellite, they will capture this information. They will capture this reflected lights from these objects, and based on these reflection, based on these captured information, they will tell us what is going on, or they will give us some data, and based on this data we will decide what to do or what not to do. So in short, remote sensing is any kind of data collection process without touching them, without physical contact with them. That means if we collect the information from the distance, that is remote sensing. And sometimes people ask me like how long distance should be there to call something as a remote sensing. The answer is the term remote sensing is very dynamic. There is not defined distance to be a remote sensing. It could be few centimeters, it could be thousands of miles. The idea is we are collecting information about the objects without touching them, without physical contact with them. That is remote sensing. And there are some particular elements involved in remote sensing. The first one is energy source. You can see here A is energy source, sun. And the second one is the radiation and the atmosphere. Atmosphere is here. So this is the solar energy. Energy is going to the earth. Then there is a space, atmosphere. This is the second component. And the third component is the interaction with the target. The energy is derived from here and it will hit the target. The target could be our soil surface, plant surface, buildings, whatever. Then the fourth one is the recording of energy from the sensor. The object is now reflecting the energy, and here is now the satellite, and this is the recording of the energy by the sensor. This has the sensor and it is recording the energy that is transmitted or reflected by the object. And the next step is the transmission, reception and processing. So this object or this drone, this will transmit the information to here, and it could be directly to the station or it could be indirectly. That means this satellite sends the information to another satellite and the another satellite sends back the information to the earth, or it could be direct, whatever. That means anyway we are talking about transmission, reception and processing. That means the information will be coming here, then we'll process the data. That means the information will come here, then we'll process the data. And the next step is interpretation and analysis. From here we already got the data, or directly or indirectly we got data here. Then our next step is processing of this data. What the data is going to tell us, we have to find it. Then the final step is the application of this information. Once we get the data, once we analyze it, the data is going to tell us something about our crop, about our animals, about our vegetation, or about our earth, whatever. The data will tell us something, and based on this data we make the decision. That is the final step, that is the application step. So the process starts from the energy source, atmosphere, then the object here, then the object will reflect the energy back to the sensor, then the sensor will send the information to the station, then we will start interpretation of this data and finally making the decision. That is all the process of remote sensing. I told you before that remote sensing could be anything from anywhere. There is no distance limit. You can see here airborne remote sensing tools like satellites. It could be thousands of miles. Then airborne photography, it could be several kilometers or several miles. Then aerial television, UAV drones, could be 150 meters, very close. And there are some other ground-based remote sensing tools. The idea is we use different kind of tools and we get the information about our land, about our residents, about our city, about our water supply system, about our vegetation. The idea is getting information about our planet, what is happening. There are basically three different remote sensing platforms. The number one is the satellite. It could be thousands of miles from the earth. Then the second one is the aircraft. The using of satellite is generally it is very far away from the earth, so its picture resolution will be very small. The picture resolution will be very small using this one. But the good thing is different companies, different organizations, they have the satellites. We can just ask them, can you provide me this kind of data? They just provide the data. We don't need to do too many things. We don't need to have a personal satellite or our satellite. That's the benefit. But the disadvantage is the picture resolution will be very low, very small pictures. Then the aircraft. This is another platform for remote sensing, but it could be expensive because you need the plane, you need the pilot to collect the data. And the most popular is the drone, very close to the ground surface, and it's cheaper. There are many drones you can buy for less than $1,000, or there are some drones cost several $1,000s even, depends. But the thing is that they are easy to operate and easy to get the data, easy to get the information, and easy to handle the whole process. Why we use remote sensing then? Remote sensing gives us the information on land cover, land use, habitats, landscape and infrastructure. Multiple engagements by time series. You can see this land. At different period of time, different time of the year probably, things are changing. The same location, but different time of the year, the picture is different. How the land is engaged by time series, we can study about that. And managing and monitoring changes and predict future. See this one. 1973, the forest land was like this. 1976, 73, 76, the forest land is degrading. 1986, it's more degrading. That means the green portion is reducing every after few years. And based on this information, we can predict the future. And of course, it is fast and easy. Fast in the sense that if you fly the drone, if you fly the aeroplane, you can get thousands of pictures within few minutes. The processing takes time, but data collecting is not that difficult. Use of remote sensing data. Remote sensing data can be used for different purposes. The first one is urban planning, where we want to extend this city or where we do not want to extend these areas. Then roads and networks, because it is easy to see from the distance, and based on that, where do we want to construct our new roads and new infrastructure, we can decide about that. City expansion, I told about that. City boundaries and time, and land use change over the short term or over the long term. Some land use change happens in a long time. For example, if we are converting forest area to the crop area, it takes time. If we are converting our crop area to the residential area, it takes time. But if we are converting our crop land to the fallow land, or just after harvesting there won't be any crops, then this is also the land change in land use, and it doesn't take much time, just a season. And also we use the remote sensing data for natural resource management. It is used in forestry, it is used in water resource management, habitat analysis, environmental assessment, pest and disease outbreak, and geomorphology. related to the soil and soil health. How do we use remote sensing data in agriculture then? There are several ways we use the remote sensing data in agriculture. For example, soil sensing, farm classification, mapping of farm and agricultural land characteristics, monitoring land management practices, site-specific management, crop and livestock health, and yield estimation, yield monitoring and yield estimation. This is the picture we generated using a aerial vehicle or some satellite, and this information is very important for us to understand about the vegetation, to understand about the crop health, and to plan for the future according to the present condition, present situation. One of the very important use of remote sensing data is variable rate fertilization. That means based on the data we collected, we can use the different rate of fertilizer within the same field. Okay, you can see here phosphorus, potassium and soil pH. Based on these pictures, you can see how much phosphorus we have in the soil. Red means about 10 lb per acre. This area has 10 lb per acre phosphorus. This is the low amount probably, and if we need to add the fertilizer in this whole plot, probably we would add more here, because here the fertilizer is less, so this area needs more fertilization. But see here, this side, it has 119 lb per acre, so probably we do not need to add any fertilizer in this area. Same happens in case of potassium. This land has only 150 pounds per acre in this area. This area may need more potassium fertilizer. Green area, it has more than 200 pounds per acre, so probably this area needs less fertilizer or even may not need the fertilizer. So based on these pictures, we can decide for the variable rate of fertilizer application. This is again the similar map. We generated the map here, and based on this map we are applying the fertilizer here. Let's see this example. Red line, let's see this red areas. Red areas has the less amount of potassium fertilizer, about 8.5 to 12.5 gram per kg soil potassium. So this area needs more fertilizer, and are we doing that or not? Let's see here. Let's go to the red area. How much we are using? We are using 120 kg KCl per hectare soil, per hectare land. While let's see the green area. Green area has more potassium, 14 to 20 gram per kg soil, and in this green area, we are using less amount of fertilizer. We use 120 kilogram per hectare for the red one. We use only 40 kilogram per hectare for the green one, because green one has the more fertilizer already in the soil profile. So based on this information, we are using the different rate of fertilizers, and that makes our farming system more profitable, because we are applying the fertilizer where it is needed. Disease and pest management. You can see based on the color we can make a decision. For example, areas to be sprayed, the red areas especially, there is a severe problem of disease, any disease. But in the green areas, probably we don't need to spray here. So it is not only for the irrigation management, but it also helps in disease and pest management. There are different sensors we use in remote sensing, airborne and ground-based sensors. Some are the airborne sensors and some are the ground-based sensors. Here these are the airborne, especially drones, UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, and here is the small sensor. This is the ground-based sensor. Let's talk about some ground-based sensors. There are 4 important sensors available in the market. These 4 sensors: Optrex, the first one, then the Green Seeker, second one. This is the top one, crop sensor, and the last one is the crop circle. And these all sensors are used to collect data from the field. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Green Seeker today. And Green Seeker is a Trimble means Trimble is the company that produced the green stickers, specific green stickers. Last year we had published one paper using these green stickers, use of NDVI for characterizing winter wheat response to water stress in a semi-arid environment. You all know that I used to work in Texas before. Texas environment is very dry and it is semi-arid environment. Then we use these sensors and we use special indices that is called NDVI. What is it? I'll tell you. Using the NDVI, we try to characterize the winter wheat response to water stress. Normalized Difference Vegetation Index, NDVI. NDVI is one of the most widely used non-destructive tool. Non-destructive means we can get the information without damaging the plants, without cutting the plants. That helps to estimate plant health and plant biomass. Plant health, especially how green the plants are, we can use this machine to know about it, and we can, based on this information, we can estimate the plant biomass or yield. We can estimate about that. And this index, I mean the NDVI, could be anywhere between -1 to +1. As it is goes to close to -1, it is not the plant. It could be something like ice or water or rocks or soil, but as it goes close to 1, it is really the plant surface. So plant will have close to 1, and non-plant surface, I mean water, rocks, soil, ice, will have close to -1 value. Photosynthesis. Green plants can do photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide and water, and the byproduct is oxygen and sugar. The light spectrum. Before we understand NDVI, we have to understand how the light spectrum works and how the chlorophyll absorbs light at different wavelength. Let's see here. Chlorophyll strongly absorbs light at wavelengths around 450 to 670. This area. Chlorophyll absorbs the light in this area only. This area, this light is invisible. But using our sensors, using our equipments, we are able to detect this light. But this light is invisible light. And in the light spectrum, healthy plants have a high reflectance in the near infrared between 700 and 1300. So this region is the reflectance region, high reflectance. You can see the reflectance is high, reflectance percent. It is very high. After about 700, it is very high. Let's see this area. This is the visible light area. And in this visible light area, where is the highest percentage of reflectance? This is the reflectance percent. You can see the highest percent of reflectance is here in the green portion. That means chlorophyll is reflecting green spectrum while it is absorbing red spectrum. Reflectance is low here, high here. This is absorption, this is reflection. Again, chlorophyll is strongly reflecting green light while it is reflecting less red light. That means red light is absorbed, green light is reflected. Because chlorophyll reflect this green light, we see all the plants green. And let's go back. This one, light spectrum is again coming. Red portion, blue portion, they are absorbed and the green portion is reflected. And this reflected light once hit our eyes, we see the plant green. And if the plant is dead, what happens? If the plant is dead, it cannot reflect the green light like this. Probably it will reflect green light, it will reflect all kinds of light at the same time. So it won't look green like this. Again here, dead leaf, it is reflecting all kinds of light, same amount, so the color is different. Here the green portion is increasing, that's why it is looking better in the sense looking a little bit green. And in the last one, the green portion is really higher than blue and red portion. That's why this leaf is green. Though the reflection is high here near infrared, we cannot see that. This is the invisible light. Let's see this figure. Near infrared, this plant is healthy plant. It is reflecting about 50% of the near infrared, and again we cannot see this light. This plant is not very healthy, and this is reflecting about 40% of the near infrared. But the most important thing is the red light. See, there is red light. This healthy plant is reflecting only 8% red light, because healthy plants absorb red light and reflect green light. But here this plant is not healthy, so the absorption of red light is less. That means it is reflecting 30% red light. Here this plant is reflecting 8% red light because red light is used. Here this plant is reflecting 30% red light because less red light is used here. For example, here 92% red light is used, only 8% reflected. Here only 70% used, 30% reflected. And based on this information, we can calculate the NDVI value. NDVI is NIR, this is NIR minus red percent divided by NIR plus red. So can you calculate the NDVI for this healthy plant? And can you calculate the NDVI for this non-healthy plant? Again, information is here. NIR for this one, use NIR 50 minus 8. 50 minus 8 divided by 50 plus 8. That would be the NDVI for this green plant. And for this unhealthy plant, the NDVI would be 40 minus 30 divided by 40 plus 30. And your work is calculate the NDVI. And based on the NDVI, we will know the health condition of our vegetation. Now we know here because we have the picture. But if we are taking the picture from the distance, from thousands of miles, then we don't know which part of the field is green, which part of the field is not, or which part of the field is healthy, which part of the field is not healthy. We don't know from the distance. And once we get the NDVI data, we will know where the plants are healthy, where the plants are not healthy within the same field. My -1 to 0 dead plants or some other objects, about 0.3 unhealthy plants, about 0.3 to 0.6 moderately healthy plants, and if the plants are very healthy, the NDVI value will come 0.6 to 1. So green, less green means low NDVI, or low NDVI means less green, either way. Whereas high NDVI value indicates high chlorophyll content and healthy plants. High chlorophyll content and healthy plants will have the high NDVI value. This is the another map, NDVI data, and it shows the different health condition of the plants, and based on these NDVI values we can plan for the future. It could be disease management, it could be fertilizer management, or it could be water management. And do not rely totally on NDVI values, because once the plant are very green, the NDVI values will be saturated. They cannot go more than 1. So healthy plants will show NDVI value of 1 or close to 1, all healthy plants. That's why many people think that we should not rely only on the NDVI values. There are other indices, other methods to monitor the field, and we have to use different indices at the same time to monitor the field and make the decision. NDVI is the one of the decision making tool out of many.